Satellite and radar imagery seen on the Weather Channel is provided by WSI Incorporated and Cavoris Incorporated.
Hurricane Gilbert, after pounding Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, where will this killer storm next turn its fury? Using the most advanced weather gathering tools available, hurricane experts at the Weather Channel and field reporters along the Gulf Coast have been keeping a close eye on Gilbert. Now, as this violent storm threatens the U.S., we'll keep you updated with live reports from the scene and updates at least twice an hour, because that's how fast the situation can change. For the latest word on Hurricane Gilbert, tune to the Weather Channel.
Do you know what to do before a hurricane strikes your home? First, remain calm. Check battery-powered equipment. Stock up on food supplies and store drinking water. Secure loose outdoor objects. Keep your car well fueled. And if instructed, evacuate low-lying areas. And watch the Weather Channel, your best source for accurate, current, continuously updated hurricane information.
And we have a report from them right now.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I'm Dennis Smith alongside Liz Jarvis. We're in Corpus Christi, just about in the bay right here. And it looks like the winds continue to pick up and the waves are really getting choppy right now, Liz.
That's right, Dennis. Surprisingly, though, no real rain yet. We did get a couple of sprinkles at our hotel room earlier this evening, but no significant rain in the area yet.
Looks like a lot of people are responding to it already. We've heard of some of the hotels booked up, not only in the area around Corpus Christi, but as far to the off the coastline area from around Hondo and building all the way up towards San Antonio, starting to build up in some of those motels right now. And also it looks like some of the emergency crews, for in case there is damage, are already in place.
That's right. There are already some problems with the phone lines, people trying to get out, trying to make long-distance phone calls, having a problem reaching their lines. But it's kind of interesting. At our motel room, we have a whole crew of phone company officials who are just arrived from San Antonio. They're in place to kind of pick up the pieces after the storm and try to help people get out with emergency lines.
As far as the weather here, it's still gusting about 40 miles an hour, occasionally on up to around 50. We can hear in the background the sea really getting chopped up around the Corpus Christi Bay area. We'll continue to monitor the situation. We've heard waves that are closer to the eye of the storm from a buoy report out in the Gulf of Mexico, kicking up waves up to about 26 feet. So it's really getting choppy. Gilbert's getting closer, and we're starting to feel the effects here in Corpus Christi area.
That's right, Dennis. There are still some residents who are here. They're interested in seeing just what Gilbert is going to do here. And at the same time, a lot of people have already left the area. We were out at Padre Island earlier today, and it's virtually a ghost town. The stores are closed down. The residents have all gone out. While at the same time, we mentioned some emergency crews are on their way in. Insurance adjusters, phone company officials, they're on their way in. News media. We have news media from all over the country in place here.
And in fact, we've been talking to some of the people that are standing around us right now, and they've been commenting this is probably the worst they've seen since Hurricane Allen made its way into this immediate area of Texas. And so once again, it's really starting to get a little bit choppy. We can definitely see, since our last live correspondence with you earlier this evening, how the winds have picked up and also how the ocean is getting even more and more chopped up. And again, they're expecting to see a lot more activity in here before Gilbert makes it on in, probably for tomorrow.
That's right, Dennis. And as we're saying, the storm is still a very, very large distance away, and we're already feeling the effects, so we're battening down the hatches.
Okay. We're going to keep you updated here at the area around Corpus Christi and let you know what's been happening around this immediate area, and we'll keep you updated. So we'll send it back to a dry and less windy conditions again back into Atlanta. This is Liz Jarvis and Dennis Smith. Thank you so much for joining us on the Weather Channel live from Corpus Christi Bay.
Thank you very much, Dennis and Liz, for that live report. And we'll be going back to both of them a little bit later on this evening. I think in about 2 hours from now. And again, we'll be talking to them in Corpus Christi, get an update on the conditions along the central Gulf Coast. Right now, we're going to take time out for a look at your local forecast.
Gulf of Mexico, keeping her eye on Hurricane Gilbert. Hurricane Gilbert has put another kink in NASA's plans to launch shuttle Discovery because of a possible threat to mission control in Houston, Texas by possible landfall by the storm. The launch date is once again in limbo, but assuming no interference from Gilbert and repair of still another tiny hydrogen leak, the most likely launch date is Monday, September 26th.
As the storm pushed into the Yucatan, it was quite intense. It weakened a bit over the land. Now it's starting to strengthen again as it gets over the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Notice the circulation around the storm, feeder bands moving around the Gulf of Mexico, and they're getting very close now to the Texas Gulf Coast. a few squalls just about an hour or two offshore the south coast of Texas. Now, as we show you the coordinates of the storm, last location we had for you, 22-1.
Yesterday afternoon, the storm was just leaving the Yucatan Peninsula and entering the Gulf of Mexico. The eye measured 8 miles in diameter. As you can see, looks relatively calm, but that is deceiving. In the wall of the hurricane, not far away, Gilbert's wind speeds were clocked at 120 miles an hour. Almost
Out here, there's the center of the storm, and it continues to move towards the west-northwest. This thick cloud mass will pass into Brownsville with the very heavy rains. As we put the clouds into motion, the storm has been behaving quite well. It's moving to the west-northwest, and as it moves in, the heavy rains are just offshore. Here's where the heaviest of the rains are, and they'll be coming into extreme South Texas today. As we check on 2 radar squalls coming into the coast, and as we head down the coast to Corpus Christi, we see the heavy rain shield pushing into Browns.
We are. In fact, they aren't letting people come out. A couple of people have still to evacuate. In fact, we talked to someone not too long ago who said the picture has been changing today just every hour. The water is creeping up, the winds are getting more intense, and as you can see, things are blowing around here right now.
In fact, he was remarking behind us, we were seeing the beach disappear. It goes out about 100 yards from where we're standing right now, and the water is just about up to our feet. The water continues to surge on in, and the tide once again is starting to come in as well, with the breaks of the waves up to as much as 6 to 8 feet.
Began feeling the effects of Hurricane Gilbert early this afternoon, but the outer fringe of the storm...
Cars crept out. South Padre Island was nearly deserted by midday Thursday. They say even the diehards boarded up and left.
When this thing roared into the Gulf of Mexico and a Category 5 just scared the heck out of most of the people here, and they said goodbye. I mean, not everybody leaves, but when they saw that, they decided this time they would take it very seriously and leave.
Many of these people have been through a hurricane before. The memories are long-lasting.
You've been through a hurricane before?
Yes, sir.
And which one was it?
Yuma.
And how bad was it?
Very bad. I lost my house.
This time, builders claim that many of their structures are hurricane-proof. But today, they must stand against Gilbert, the strongest hurricane in history. I'm Marshall Cease for the Weather Channel.
Liz Jarvis are in Corpus Christi, Texas this morning, keeping a very close eye on Hurricane Gilbert. Dennis is on the line right now. Good morning, Dennis. How are the tides down along Corpus Christi?
They're already, John, running about 4 to 5 feet above normal. And the only problem is it looks like as the height of the storm moves in, so will the tide. Low tide around the Corpus Christi area is shortly after 12 noon. And as expected, the storm will come in late this afternoon or early evening. High tide is about 10:30 tonight, so it looks like it's bad timing as far as the storm and the tide, so there may be a lot more coastal flooding than what is usually expected. Also, they've already closed what is called the JFK Causeway. That goes out to Padre Island and connects Corpus Christi. That's already closed because water is already lapping over that. We're out on Padre Island yesterday, and it was already brushing up against the edge of the road, and I'm sure that's underwater this morning. Right now it is not raining here, but we still have some gusty winds. Still very much like they have been about the last 5 or 6 hours, about 35, occasionally up to 40 miles an hour. We understand in our contacts with the Red Cross that they have, and some of the neighboring high schools here, they have 13 shelters open now, and 3 can take some more in, and they would like to open 3 more. The only problem is they're waiting for some hospital staff to accommodate some of those shelter areas. But it's sort of we've got everything ready. We're just kind of waiting for Gilbert. The police are fully staffed. The governor's called out the National Guard in Corpus Christi, Alice, and McAllen. It's sort of like we're all right. We're in place. We're ready. Those that are going to leave have left. Those that are going to board up have already boarded up. And it's sort of like, all right, Gilbert, do your thing, and we'll see what comes out of it.
Dennis, thank you very much. We were watching the radar returns from Brownsville and watching the feeder bands from around Gilbert sweeping across your general area. And believe me, there's a lot more rain where that earlier rain came from.
Yeah, we'll take this little gap, but it looks like some more is on its way.
Exactly. We'll continue to stay in touch with you and Liz throughout the morning and the day today. And you take special care as we continue our coverage live from on the scene. Right now, back to our studio and Cheryl.
Thanks a lot, John. And that is right. We will continue to bring you updates regarding Hurricane Gilbert. Right now, though, it's time to take a look at your local forecast. All that and more coming up in the next few moments.
The Weather Channel, the one channel on your TV that brought you live coverage of Hurricane Gilbert 24 hours a day.
If I were in Texas, for example, I would want to keep very close track of what happens to this hurricane from now on.
Tiene los vientos a 38 millas por hora. Aquí está un radar.
When we have a hurricane making landfall, there is this definite possibility of tornadoes occurring.
With live coverage from the scene.
Well, you know, we've been traveling all this week along the Gulf Coast, and from Mobile all the way through to New Orleans, Louisiana, people are taking this storm very, very seriously.
I think they really prepared for Gilbert, and we knew earlier in the week that this was a major hurricane in the making, but I think people have really stuck to the media, watching the Weather Channel and various local, listening to very local officials here, as a result, staying abreast on the latest on Gilbert, and as a result.
The one channel on your TV with 24-hour live weather coverage, especially when you need it the most. The Weather Channel.